What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of Seen But Not Heard. We'll feature music from Putrid, Gravelord, and a little interview with Randall Pearson from Chondro guitars. I am a huge guitar nerd. Not much into the specs or so, but I just love cool looking guitars like this one. My Munson Virus, made by Brett Munson. Super cool fucking guitars that guy makes. Check him out. But Randall specializes in very cool custom guitars, so I'm really excited for you guys to hear about that whole story and what he deals with the ins and outs of that. But first, I'm going to go into music from Gravelord. These guys are from Kansas City. It's kind of a little bit of everything in this band for metal. It's got a little something for everyone. So hope you guys enjoy it. Shout out to my boy Paul for giving me the insights of his band. So Gravelord, Under. my years in travels of playing shows, going to shows, being around shows, promoting shows, I've seen a thing or two, and I'd like to share some of these stories with you. This one dates back to around 2006, maybe 2007, when I was playing in a band called Necktie Suicide. We got asked to do a outdoor metal fest in southern Minnesota, I believe. It was one of those NYDM get-togethers. I've been tight with a lot of the NYDM guys, but I've never really played in a death metal band, because Necktie Suicide was not death metal. It was metal, but it had a little bit of like a core influence with stuff like that. It was cool. I like it. It was good stuff. Really love the guys I played with. They're good, great dudes, fantastic musicians. But yeah, we weren't a death metal band by any means. But we always got asked to do these NYDM events. I digress. So we are playing this outdoor metal fest, and we went on probably around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This thing went to I think 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I'd been drinking the whole day, like I used to back in the day. And it started raining. So I'm partying with these guys, my bandmates. They're in the van sleeping. Find this dude walks up to me, and he's like, "Hey, you want to try acid? Here's the thing, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad." But this is a drug story, and I apologize. This is going to tell you why not to do drugs. My first time ever doing it. Never done it before. So why not do it in the middle of an open field with people camping and just nobody I know. My bandmates are asleep. So I take this, and I'm wandering around just confused as all hell. It's just was not fun. I try to crawl into the van, and I end up going into the front seat as everyone's sleeping in the back. I try to get comfortable and fall asleep, but I can't. I end up kicking the rearview mirror off the windshield. That was strike one against me. So I wake everyone up, and they're not impressed at all. Not the first time, not the last time. They'll not be impressed with my actions. Well, so my singer's like, "All right, what happened?" And I told him, well, I just did some illegal substances. He's like, fuck. Well, I'll try to walk you through it. So as we're wandering the campgrounds, I think he can attest that this actually happened, but I don't know. Like I said, I was doing acid. Don't do drugs. There was 2 dudes with axes beating the shit out of a beer keg, I'm fairly certain. I gave my Slayer Hella Weight shirt away to someone that I didn't know. We cried and we hugged. That might have happened. And it was just terrifying. So he finally is like, "All right, we need to get you back to the van." Tried to get some sleep, couldn't, so I just sat around anxiously for people to wake up. 8 in the morning now. Everyone's up. I'm still losing my mind. They're all outside talking with some people outside the van. I see a man who is submersed in a tent, screaming. He sounded and looked like Popeye from what I remember. And he was just going, "Pinky, oi, 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 oi," over and over and over again. And I still fucking laugh to that to this day, because I know that happened, because me and my bandmates joked about it. But during this time, that freaked me out. So I run into one of the porta potties, trying to escape it all, and that just terrified me more. So I ran outside the porta potty. I threatened to ride someone's German Shepherd into Valhalla, from what I was told. And then on the way home, every time we stopped for gas, they made me go inside and pay for it, because I was a dumb fucking asshole. So like I said, don't do drugs. Be good. Stay clean. Everything will work out in the end. Hey there, everybody. I'm here with Randall Pearson from Chondro Guitars. How we doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Oh, just living the dream. So the reason I got in touch with you is you came up on my radar through a mutual friend, Robert Carlson, who bought that Blood Spatter V from you.
Yeah, I call him Sasquatch.
He is a creature of myth.
He's a big dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I just went and hung out with him not that long ago. Actually, just last weekend, I actually got to play that Jackson V for the first time, which I've been threatening to steal from him for a long time, ever since he got it from you. And that thing is a fucking beauty.
Yeah.
So, with that... oh, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so with that... Go on.
Yeah, that particular guitar, how I spec guitars is I spec them how I would like them. I don't like to try and guess of what other people want. And when I did that one, all mahogany, for a King V, mahogany body, mahogany neck on a Jackson King V, that's just it right there.
It turned out fucking gorgeous. So that kind of leads me into the main question here. How did you get into the business of more the custom, the USA builds, the more quote unquote boutique guitars rather than just like a normal Guitar Center where you're just going to have the run of the mill shit?
Luck. It was a choice. Do I go cheap or do I go expensive? To be honest, when I started, I didn't start with a lot of money. So I was sitting with my wife trying to figure out exactly what direction we wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go USA custom shop, high-end stuff. I'm going to leave the cheap shit to Sweetwater and Guitar Center, Musician's Friend. I'm going to start stocking guitars that I always wanted to play when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I could never. And luckily, it worked out.
Because I've seen, ever since I joined the Snake Pit on your Facebook there, I watch all these amazing fucking guitars come in. And what seems to be a record speed of how fast they leave your shop, too. You have like a diehard fan base, so.
I do. I feel very fortunate with the customers that I've gained over the past 3 years, especially last year. Mm-hmm. When COVID hit, I was saying, okay, we got to be very conservative, or else Chondro is going to die. I was really afraid of COVID fucking up my shit. But my customers have just been, I've got a group of guys that are my guys, and they've treated me well from the beginning, and, luckily I'm okay.
Good. I mean, it's cool to watch the progress. Well, not the progress. You've already built up your fan base by the time I found out who you were and got to start following and all that fun stuff. But it's cool you have that diehard base of people that is willing, even during these pandemic times, to be able to shell out such, which for me is a lot of money. I mean, the most expensive guitar I own right now is $1,500. So.
Yeah, I don't understand it. The price of guitars and people's willingness to pay for it. But it is what it is. Me, myself, I can't own a guitar over, I can't own the guitars that I sell. I just can't do it. It's not worth it for me. That's probably have a lot to do with my playing skills. It doesn't justify a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 guitar. But I've got expensive taste, so it's like, fuck. I can't pay for this guitar. I don't have the skill set for this guitar, but I can't deal with a fucking import. I'm fucked.
And let me say, as a person who's played, my first Jackson that I owned was like a $300 cheap Rhodes with just the shittiest fucking tremolo system on it, barely stayed in tune. And, back then when I was like 20 some years old, that thing was a dream to me. It's like, I saved up, to buy this $300 used guitar. But then last week when I got to play a $3,000 Jackson, the difference you feel, the money's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Good Lord. I mean, just night and day difference. I mean, obviously between a $300 guitar to a $1,500 guitar to a $3,000 to, I got to play one of his $6,000 fucking Jacksons, and the craftsmanship is amazing with that company, with just any kind of custom shop in general, I'd say, you know?
Yes.
And so, well, as you were.
Yeah, it's just when you go from a mass-produced guitar that honestly they're cutting 20 bodies at the same time, they're cutting 20 necks, and then they're just piecing them together as fast as they can to get them out the door, compared to something that Joe Williams and Mike Shannon is building. Yeah, there's just no comparison. Even when you get up to the like pros, there's still. It's really Jackson USA. It's those guys who are out there in California building some of the greatest guitars that's ever been made. I'm sure you know this now, but I'm a diehard Jackson guy. I'll always be a diehard Jackson guy.
Yep.
Even though I sell other brands, and they're great guitars. ESP is phenomenal. Schecter USA, phenomenal. Dean is making some great stuff. But I'm one of these idiots that if it doesn't say Jackson on the headstock, I don't fucking want it. You know, I've tried other brands. I mean, I have $10,000 ESP master built guitars in my shop, and I'm like, okay, I want a Jackson.
And see, like, I'm one of those guys where I don't have a brand loyalty per se. I mean, like when I teach, I play Ibanez. When I play live, I play BC Rich, or I have a Munson, and then I have another custom guitar on the way. But due to COVID and pandemic shit, that kind of got put on halt for a bit there from a guy named Sean who does SBS Designs. So getting that custom build, that waiting for it, you know, I can't fucking wait. But due to money, couldn't do it. But like I said, I can't nail myself down to one brand. I've never been able to do that. But I mean, every player's different, so.
Yeah, you know, I wish I could be that way, but there's just something. It's like cars. I'm a Ford guy. I buy Fords. I buy Lincolns. And with guitars, I buy Jacksons. Do I think that Jacksons are the greatest guitars ever? No. But I don't give a fuck. That's, you know, Ford is my brand. Jackson is my brand. You know, that's just how I am.
And that's fucking cool.
And for as great as all these other brands, for me, when you get that perfect Jackson, nothing beats it. Mm-hmm. Period. Nothing beats it. The tone, the neck, the fucking neck on the KV2 is perfect. You know, it's not too big. It's not too thin. It's very comfortable. The radius that they do, that 12 to 16 compound radius, is perfect. Even though I'm not up at the higher end of the fretboard anyway. But, you know, and everybody has their preference. You know, there's some guys out there who will be like, you know what, I just can't dig Jackson, and I'm an ESP guy, and that's fine.
Yep.
No, I wouldn't have a shop if all I sold was Jackson. But
yeah, you got to have that variety out there. Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is, out of all the years you've been doing this, what are like the one or two guitars that just blew you away when they showed up? Just like, fuck, I don't want to get rid of this thing.
None of them. None of them. You know, I guess it would be the first KV1 that I sold. And here lately I've been known as the KV1 guy. You know, so I've got about 16 stashed away. You know, it was just by accident, but yeah, it's every KV1 I sell, I regret. But I can't hoard them all. You know?
Can't you?
But here's the thing with selling the guitars that I sell. Eventually, there comes a point to where nothing amazes you anymore. Nothing surprises. It's just a piece of wood, you know, some steel, some magnets, ceramic, wires. It's just, and unfortunately, where I'm at right now, that's just how it is. I'm more of an amp guy now, and I didn't used to be all about guitars. Now it's fucking amps. But yeah, it's just when this is all you do is high-end custom shop guitars. It's just like somebody picking up a Pro. It's like, oh, okay, it's a guitar. So that's, it's funny. Somebody told me that when I first started. They were like, Randall, if you love guitars, don't do this. And I just brushed him off, thought he was full of shit. And it's probably about year 2 was when I realized, all right, he was right. Now, again, I'm not knocking the guitars. It's just when this is all you do.
Yeah.
It's expected. Once you get that great ESP custom shop in, when you get that Jackson USA, they're so consistent and they're so great that it's like, okay, no big deal.
Yeah. Fucking. So, what kind of amps are you running through the shop these days?
So I'm selling Mesobarba, the whole boutique amp distribution stuff, which is the Diesel, the Friedmans, Soldanos. They're doing well. Signed on Kyle, KSR. Trying to work with Michael with Omega, but that dude is so in demand right now. He can't fill the orders. He's like, man, I can't do this right now. I got to fulfill my customers' orders first before I can get your ass in here. Okay. I understand that. But, my amp of choice is actually Mesobarba. For a long time, I did the whole Wagner thing, this SLO, a bunch of Mesas and Marshalls, and it just, there was nothing, I always had to boost it. And, it wasn't to shape a tone, it was just to boost it to get more out of it.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that if you need to use a pedal to get more gain out of an amp, or to get more aggression out of it, you need another amp. Now that's not, if you want to shape your tone, that's what a pedal's for. Or if you can't afford some of these great high-end amps,
yeah,
pedal will help you out. But if you're going to spend $3,000-$4,000 on a fucking amp, and you need a pedal, you need a different amp.
I agree. I had a buddy who had, I can't remember what fucking Marshall it was, but I played on that thing for like an hour, and I could not get any sort of decent tone out of it. But also, again, I am a diehard PV fan. I am a PV Triple X guy. I fucking collect them. It's my favorite amp. Been that way for 20 years.
Well, you're like an extreme metal guy, right? Yep. So it's like PV. Orange is also big in the extreme metal genre. Randall, that's just seems to be the extreme metal guy's niche right there, is those amps. For some reason or another, that's just some guy decided, hey, I'm going to use a Randall, and that was like, that's the fucking tone I've been looking for. So now all you guys use those amps. It's like 3 amps you guys decide to use.
Yeah, it's fucking true. Not wrong.
I get it.
Because my guitar teacher actually just recently got one of those Mesa. How do you pronounce it again? Mesobarba. And he's been speaking really highly of those. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Steve Stein. He's the guy who taught me everything I know of fucking guitar. Fantastic guitar player.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about those, and yeah, he seems to like it. So I mean, I trust his opinion. I trust your opinion.
Yeah, so I was looking at all these other amps, and it just wasn't for me. And then I went to NAMM 2018, and going through the booths as I do, I saw Mrs. Smith playing a Mesobarba M0 Overdrive. There was like a big fucking crowd there. What the fuck is this? I didn't know who Mrs. Smith was. And I just thought, is that a grandma over there fucking rocking out? Come to find out it wasn't. It was some dude dressed in drag, But I love the tone. And 2 weeks after NAMM 2018, I reached out to Pierre Angelo. I was like, interested in carrying your amp. However, because it's so new here in the States, I bet you send me one. I'll try it out. If I like it, we'll do some business. So he sent, he's got JP Cervani over at Overdrive Distribution. That's kind of like the distribution center for Mesobarba here in the States, because Pierangelo's in Italy.
Okay.
Sent it to me, and within 15 minutes, I was like, okay, this is an SLO / Plexi / JCM 800 all in one amp. Doesn't need boosting. It's fucking perfect. This is what I've been looking for. And ever since then, I've just been a Mesobarba guy. And now I'm actually working with Pierangelo on a new amp.
Really?
One, yes. You know, I got a big mouth. I'm sure Pierangelo will forgive me. But 180 watts, KT88 based. One of the big complaints about their newest amp, which is the Trinity, is it flubs out a little bit when you're trying to do extreme stuff. Drop A, drop B. You know, the drop A stuff with 7 strings. It's not meant for that. And really, for some of the new guys and the extreme guys, that's what they're playing. And it just can't handle that. But if you're doing you know, classic 70s stuff, if you're doing 80s thrash metal, if you're doing 90s metal, it can handle all that. But when you start doing the new stuff or the extreme stuff, it just can't handle it.
Yes.
We're working to fix that on this new amp.
Okay.
I think he's tentatively called it the Armageddon, I think. We'll see. But yeah, it's 180 watts, KT88 based. I should be getting that in the next 2 weeks. We're going to play it, push that fucking thing and really see what it can do, and then recommend some tweaks to Pierangelo and see what we can do for the extreme guys.
Dude, that's fucking badass. That'll be cool as hell. Because, yeah, you're right. With the drop tunings like that, like, personally, when I play, the lowest I go is B. And still, I mean, that muddies it up. But when you drop down to the fucking 8-string, 9-string shit, that's just pure fucking slop. I notice a lot of those players be using shit like Kempers and stuff like that to kind of shape their tone. But I rarely see someone go into, like, straight up into a head when they're playing that low. There's usually either a giant pedal board in front of them or a Kemper, something like that. So that'll be cool doing that with that Mesobarba.
Yeah, when you're dropping that low, and you're using 7, 8 strings. Some of these guys are using 9 strings. What the fuck that's about? I got no clue. I can barely do 6. These fuckers are playing 9 strings. There's no definition in your chords. I mean, it all sounds the fucking same. Mm-hmm. So, you know, these guys need more than most is that articulation.
Yep.
And you just don't get it. It's very difficult, and the only way to really get it, I guess, is with a mid-cut boost pedal, something that'll make that mix cut. You know, but we're working on something. We'll see how that goes.
That's fucking badass, man. I hope that'll be fucking cool to see. Definitely. One of the main things I really wanted to talk to you about, being that I am a huge Goat Whore Sammy Douay fan, is how that came about to get those LTD ST1s in order. Like from day one to, you know, waiting on the orders now. How did that come about?
I got to give credit to Jamel Griffin for that. Are you familiar with Jamel?
I am not, actually.
All right. He's a big death metal guy. And I remember around the first of last year, he posted something in the bit page of Sammy's star. And I was like, that's what a fucking star is supposed to look like. Now, with me, the price of guitars don't shy me away at all. I don't give a fuck how much the guitar is. If I set my mind to say, I got to have that guitar in the shop, I don't give a fuck. I want that guitar in my shop. So I reached out to ESP. With it being a custom, I knew it was going to be expensive. I was like, look, I want this star in my shop. What is it going to take? It took them a while to get back to me, but they said, okay, we'll do Sammy's number 1. That's not a problem. And I was like, okay, let's run it. Probably 2 weeks after that, Sammy hit me up on Instagram. He was like, so a little birdie tells me that you ordered my number 1. I was just, absolutely. That's what a fucking star's supposed to be. That guitar belongs in my shop because I'm a pointy guy.
Yep.
I don't like the super strats and Kellys are okay, but for me it's got to have points. It's got to look like a weapon.
Yep.
And that was that is the most brutal star I've ever seen. So I was like, yeah, I gotta have it. And then we were just conversing between ourselves, and he was trying to work on a signature LTD. He was telling me like for 2 years he's been trying to get it done, but there was little interest or there was hesitation. From my understanding, there was not a lot of confidence in that guitar. Maybe because of the Gus G thing. That didn't do well.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, I was like, look, when you build a star, at least for my perspective and for my customers, we don't want a pussified star. It's got to be brutal. And Sammy hit the nail on the fucking head. And they said, well, if you're willing to fork out the money for it, we'll build it for you. I was like, okay, I don't give a shit. Let's do it. And then me and Sammy started talking back and forth on what we wanted to do with it. I said, look, Sammy, this is your guitar. All I'm doing is selling. I want you to do whatever you want to do with it. And he hit me up with some specs, and it looked good to me. I sent it over to Jeff Moore, the vice president of ESP. He was like, okay, this will work. And then Sammy threw in that custom case. Like, this is what I want the case to be. Of course, it's got to be that. That's pretty much how it came to be. And honestly, I don't think extreme metal guitar players and extreme metal guys in general, I don't think that they get the respect that they deserve. I mean, Sammy's been out there busting his ass for almost, 25 years, 30 years?
Almost 30, yeah.
And he's, this was well-deserved for him. And I'm just glad that I was able to help make it happen.
Yeah.
And apparently, the numbers don't lie. That fucking thing sold out in 2 minutes.
Oh, I know.
I've got something that's linked to my website. And when I went live with that guitar, I was able to see where people were on the website, where they came from, and what they're currently doing. I had 800 people trying to check out that guitar.
Yep.
800 people in my checkout on the shop wanted to buy that guitar. So, I'm hoping that maybe eventually that becomes in a different configuration, because the one thing that I did tell the guys at ESP, if this is successful, we cannot make an exact replica of this limited edition and put it into production. It's got to be a little different, because my guys who buy this limited edition guitar is going to be fucking pissed if it comes out as a stand and it's no longer special. But I'm hoping that they see the need for this guitar, and hopefully soon it will come into standard production, and people who were unable to buy the LTD limited edition will be able to buy some form of this star, because there is definitely a market for it.
100%. So the story with me in that, I was saving up for it all summer, but due to COVID, and I also had another guitar, I'm still paying off as well, I didn't have much money. So my buddy, who is very financially responsible, for my birthday, he's like, dude, I'll buy it for you and just pay me back whenever you can. I'm like, awesome. He's like, just tell me when it goes on sale. So I gave him a day heads up. And he called me, because he released him at 6 o'clock, I believe, right?
Yes.
Something around that time. He called me at 6:05. He's like, dude, I went on the site. I fucking had to fill out some shit. And by the time I filled it out, it took me like 2 minutes. It's fucking gone. And I was like, oh, so fucking close. But I know two people that got them. One of my buddies here in Fargo, West Fargo in the area, and then a buddy in Minneapolis. So crossing my fingers that they may want to sell it one day, because I want that limited edition one. Because I was we were so close to getting it, man. Fuck.
You know, I tried to keep it for my guys. I tried to keep because I just had a feeling that I didn't realize it was going to be 2 minutes. I thought it would be a week. But I wanted everybody in the pit to have the opportunity to buy it if they wanted it. But Sammy was so excited, and I don't blame him. He was just, you know, he was like, hey, you got to get it from Chondro. Hey, this is where you get it. You know, and, you know, some of them leaked out of the pit, and that's fine. But I was really trying to keep it for my guys. Yeah. Because I knew there was going to be a big hit. But regardless, I'm glad it did well. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that, you know, like I said, maybe in the next year or so, ESP will put out Sam Dewey Star.
That'd be fucking.
He deserves it, and he deserves it.
I'm actually shocked it's been this long since he's had something like this happen for him, which is cool as fuck that you made it happen, because years ago, I think I was talking with my buddy like 5-10 years ago. I'm like, why the fuck hasn't he had a signature? There's fucking flash in the pan guitarists that get one, it seems like, the first year they're out. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, he's one of those, you know, if you're into extreme metal, that's one of the first guys you think of is Sam.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, Acid Bath, Goat Whore. He was even in Crowbar for a little bit. I'm happy for him, and it makes me feel, I don't know, happy that I was able to help make that happen for him. You know, I had to put my ass on the line, and I had to put the cash in. You know, I had to, you know, put my money where my mouth was. But you know, honestly, I've got great taste. So
you do. I can't say you don't, man. Those BC Riches you got coming through. Every time I see one, it's just like, fuck. I shouldn't be opening this at work because this is getting me fucking hard. They're beautiful,
so,
man.
The thing with BC Rich, when I talked to Bill, and then I started talking with Casey, and then they told me the price of them. I was like, look, you know, if I'm going to sell these guitars with a straight face, they better be as good, if not better, than ESP Japan. Or else I'm sending them back, and I won't. Because I don't do imports. For some reason or another, I can't sell a cheap guitar to save my fucking life. I can sell a $3,000 guitar. I can't sell an $800 guitar. That's just boggles my mind. But yeah, I wasn't interested in selling the imports. So the quality of those new BC Riches that Casey is building, it had to be on point. And I went through those first two guitars probably more thoroughly than I've ever gone through any guitar ever. Because I got those guitars, and in all honesty, I expected to send them back. I was like, there's no fucking way. Casey? Who the fuck is Casey? Who the fuck is Casey from Colorado? I've never heard of Casey. And I'll be damned if those two BC Rich guitars were not the best BC Rich guitars I've ever put in my hands. And Casey has supplied me now with 5, I think. 5, maybe 6. And it's consistent. I understand that, you know, old school BC Rich guys are looking at it and they're like, fuck, $6,000? I said, yeah, well, that's pretty much what the market is for a USA custom shop guitar.
Yeah.
You know, I think Jackson was the last holdout for those extreme prices. But now, after the price increase this year, it's right in line with everybody else in the heavy metal market. You know, you got ESP, you got BC Rich, you got Jackson, all these guys now. You're looking at $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for a guitar.
Yep.
And I would put Casey's builds against anybody.
Okay.
They're that good. The problem is it doesn't say Jackson on the headstock, so I can't. Casey's always said, okay, Randall, I'm telling you, this is the one. This is the one that's going to make you break your Jackson ridiculously. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. And I get it in, and it's fucking phenomenal. But then I just look down at the headstock, and I'm like, I can't do it.
So Last question here before we kind of take off for the day so I can let you get back to business of selling fucking extremely fucking beautiful guitars to people.
Sure.
Can you kind of explain the process to the people listening of what it takes to actually get a custom build done? Because a lot of people think, oh, I just call up Jackson and tell him, hey, I want a V that's red. Fucking, there's a lot into it. Can you kind of explain the process or dumb it down a little bit for people that haven't done it before?
Call me. That's it. You just call me, and I'll take you to how I do it. Is I want to talk to you. I don't want to Facebook message you. I don't want to go through emails. I want to talk to you, and I want to get a feel of exactly what you want. So and it also makes mistakes happen less if I talk to you, if we talk on the phone and have a conversation.
Yep.
But yeah, you just you call me, I'll fill out all the paperwork for you. I send it in and get a quote. Jackson for me is extremely easy because I've probably done in 3 years 200 Jackson custom shops, maybe more. In 2 minutes, I can have a quote right off the top of my head. I've done so many. ESP, that's a little bit more intricate because you got to fill out the paperwork, and then we got to send it to a guy in USA who sends it to Japan. And a lot of times there's, things get lost in translation because from what I understand, those guys don't speak English. So there's a lot of checking and double checking with ESP Japan. BC Rich, that's fucking easy. $6,000. You want to top 6,500, regardless. Neck through, set neck, bolt on. It's fucking $6,000. Of course, if you're a member of the pit page, you get a little bit of help with that. But Schecter, just like ESP. But call me. We'll get you set up. I'll handle everything. Normally with a 10-minute phone call.
Fucking A, man. Dude, I appreciate your time 100%. Thank you for talking with me. It's actually cool to be able to talk with you rather than just message you or comment on your Facebook shit here and there.
Sure.
But 2 things. Keep on selling fucking killer guitars, man. I'm going to spread the word about your shop, and hopefully one day me and Robert can make our way in there and you can see how tall he actually is in person.
Oh, he's been to the shop before.
Oh, shit.
He's been to the shop. He went into the shop. I think he was doing a show. Let's see, he was doing a show in Chicago.
Mm.
Stopped by and picked up that Lightning King V.
Okay. Well, that fucker lied to me then.
Maybe he forgot.
Well,
but no, he's been in there.
We'll have to make a road trip still. And number 2, if by any chance one of those LTD SD1s ends up back in your hands, please let me know.
I will.
I appreciate it.
I've got a list here. I'll put you at the top of the list if one accidentally becomes available. I was actually going to keep one for myself, but I had to sell that one. So I don't even have one for myself.
Fuck, man.
And Sammy had to take 2 of them. He said, Randall, I want number 1 and 30. I'm like, you're getting the fucking prototype. He said, nah, I want 1 and 30. I said, all right.
Hey, you can't blame him. I'd be excited
it's
too.
It's your guitar, man. Right.
Well, Randall, like I said, thank you for your time. Like I said, I'm going to keep on trying to push as much business your way and keep the shop going for you and keep the word going. And hopefully one day I get to have this conversation in person with you and hopefully be playing one of those fucking sweet star guitars, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later, brother. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'd like to thank Randall Pearson for taking the time to talk with me today and kind of give us the ins and outs of how it works to order a custom shop guitar, the ins and outs of just the custom shop world. It's pretty cool and pretty exciting, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get one of those LTD SD1s. Sammy, if you're out there, I want one. I'd like to thank Gravelord for sending me their stuff as well. Killer shit. Thus brings us to the end of our episode. We're going to close it out with Putrid Christ. These guys are out of Virginia, and their drummer, Ben, he and I talk very frequently on Facebook, and he also plays in a band called the Unnamed Horrors with Paul Allender, ex-Cradle of Filth, and they will be dropping an album in this next coming year. So more killer shit for them to look out for. But Putrid Christ, kick-ass fucking Dark Throne style black metal, just bleh. So this song is Raped in the Wilderness of the Woods. If you like the show, please share it, please like it, spread the word, and as always, support the underground. Hails and cheers. Well, you see, I realized it after I listened to Van Hagar and found it was superior. John Bush is also the better lead singer, and Dave Mustaine did not write anything on Ride the Lightning.